Hal here with more Space Engineers, and as you can see, the little gunship got the crap kicked out of it. There's a story behind that. We'll talk about what's going on, talk about what we think our plans are going to be for this week. But first, we have to get started, so let's go. So, happy Monday, everybody. Hopefully you had a fantastic week. Well, I should say a fantastic weekend, and are having a terrific Monday thus far. We ran into some trouble. Alright, so let me get down here. We're going to turn conveyors off on this thing for a second. We're going to strip the ammo out of that. We are going to repeat this one. And basically talk about what's going on here. So what happened is I decided to go ahead and do a bit of a test, and I was like, I was going to do it in an alternate save kind of thing, and I'm kind of wishing that I had. Basically, I was actually recording the whole thing, and what ended up happening was the the oxygen tank that was behind the cockpit got taken out. I don't know if it was intentional, if it was because of the way we were drifting. See, so what I had done is I was recording everything as part of just some background footage to show the testing. And unfortunately the save is, the video I should say, didn't save. Yay. But what ended up happening is that the ship went drifting one way, the cockpit went drifting another way, and the oxygen tank that had been holding the whole thing together was no longer there. So what I did is I ground down the cockpit, caught up to the ship, the rest of the ship, threw the cockpit back on it, and then basically limped back to base. So outside of the turret, outside of the two weapons you saw me take off, we lost the Gatling cannon that was here. We lost the upper Gatling cannon, so we lost those two weapon systems. We took a hell of a beating. I mean, just look at this. This was all armor. All of this armor was, in place and fully welded up. We even put in all the metal grids. And what was great is that we ran into the hostile miner. For those who aren't quite sure what that is, that's one of the ships that you can actually buy. It's got the two drills on it, but it's also got Gatling guns underslung on the drills, and then there is a center mount missile launcher. And I mean, we wrecked that. We just flew past it. It was gone. Between the two turrets and the six cannons shooting at it, we got inside of, I want to say, 300 meters and just cut it in half. It wasn't even a fight. Basically, all I did is I turned off the inertial dampeners and just kind of slewed past it. And it went pop very quickly. So it's like, okay, that's cool. Let's take on the mining base then. Yeah, I got in range of the mining base, and within about 5 seconds, the oxygen tank was gone, the two cannons were gone, and the damage that you're seeing from the rest of the ship, where it was basically drifting, it took a pretty good beating. All right, so what does this mean for us? Basically, if we want to take on bases, we're not going to be able to use a small ship. If we need an anti-fighter, this little beast is actually really good, at least thus far. So we're gonna do connector, and we are going to try and repair this thing. I don't think I have the parts for it right now. But yeah, so it's been interesting. So I've been spending the time, probably close to an hour limping back because I had to chase that thing down in my suit, so it was kind of funny, in a sad and pathetic way. Okay, so that gives us the ability to at least connect this thing to something. And we are going to swing you around, and we're going to see if we can get this thing in. I don't know if it's going to fit because of the turret. I think the turret is going to be an issue. Are you going to... We want you to have a 0 strength. We're going to go ahead and lock it.
Fuel.
And I mean, we didn't even have a chance to really set up any of our thruster groups, or you should be... Yes? Yes, okay. And looks like everything here is good. Okay. So yeah, it's been an interesting weekend thus far. Of course, I like the fact that that little beast fits pretty well inside. Now, I did use this thing to shoot down a couple of meteorites. Mainly because I wanted to see if it could. So you look okay. What are we missing? Is there anything that we're missing? Check the batteries. They're looking okay. This one I'm kind of worried about. Okay, that one was missing some plates. Looks like everything else should be... Whoa, what was that? Oh, ion thruster, missing all sorts of stuff. Okay. Right? Yeah, okay. So, yeah. That was a thing. Oh. Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. I was definitely overconfident going into that fight. And it came back to bite me in the butt, so. What am I missing? I am missing plates. Yeah, okay. See if we can get the materials out. Just give me the damn materials. Yeah. Oh, come on, really? I hate that. Okay, so let's grab a bunch of stuff so we can hopefully get this thing welded back up. Alright. Now, I do think what we'll do for the ship, for this thing, is I may end up putting some spaced armor on it. I've had people ask me recently, basically, what am I talking about when I say spaced armor? What you can do, and it's more effective against explosives than it is necessarily against like just normal projectiles, is you can build out with spaces behind this. You have these negative spaces that you leave here, and what happens is that when damage comes in, each block has a certain number of hit points, right? Because of the way that damage is applied, what it will do is it'll calculate the damage here, and if, depending on the type of weapon, like say the chain gun, a portion of that damage carries through to the block behind it. If there's no block behind it, then you generally don't have damage carry through that far. Now, this is a very, very simplistic overview of the way this damage mechanics are working. in reality, some of that damage will still carry through to a certain block. There's effectively a penetration value that says, say 3 blocks. Well, the first block will take however much of the damage. The second block takes however much of the damage, and then say if it's got a penetration of 3, it goes to the third block. The third block is going to take a fraction of the damage. So what ends up happening is you basically have a sacrificial layer of armor, and some people will build in multiple layers of this stuff, just depending on what they're trying to do. And so what I'm thinking is, if I can, thank you, let's not grind holes in our ship. So what I'm thinking is basically rebuilding the ship. I'm seriously thinking that we need to rebuild our combat vessel, and I'm kind of not wanting to do that, at least not right now, because we just built this one. I really don't want to take time out to do another combat build, but we may need to. Like I said, this thing as it exists is great for anti-fighters, as an anti-fighter vehicle. It did really, really well when facing some of the pirate combat vehicles. The problem that we have is that small ships have such few hit points. Like each one of these blocks, a normal armor block, small grid armor block, only has, I want to say, like 5 hit points. The small ship chain gun does enough damage to pop 1 or 2 of these blocks, every other second or so. Well, actually, if you do a full second of fire, you can cut through probably this entire layer of armor in 1 to 2 seconds from just one chain gun. When you're fighting the large grid version of these weapons, what ends up happening is that it does so much damage that the way that the damage is applied, you lose sections of your armor. It's absolutely crazy. So, and see, I knew that going into it, but I'm kind of disappointed in the fact that it did do a ridiculous amount of damage. I mean, it was crazy how fast. And again, when I was talking to, I think it was S'more down in the video discussions, we were talking about the combat system, and I was saying, it's like as you get closer, the turret AI becomes more accurate because there is a random amount of spread. There's a small amount of spread built into the system. For those who aren't familiar with the concept, basically where you're pointing, there is a percentage of drift in a 360 circle around that point. So when you're looking at, let me see if I can bring up, I don't have a weapon on me. No, I have ammo on me, but I don't have a weapon. Let me get, crap. I just realized I guess I can get it here. Do I have any rifles? They're probably back in the... Really? I don't have any? I have to have a rifle somewhere. Alright, you know what? Hell with it. We're gonna make one. Rapid fire, I want... I don't have any cobalt. Oh, I'm out of cobalt? Really? Crap. Right, let's make an elite. And you are an elite rifle. So it should show up here shortly. And then basically what we're talking about. Come on. There we go. Awesome. Take that out. Grab that. Okay, so you see that the reticle from in the crosshair? There's a bit of spread in the weapon. So when you're firing it, you see how you get the recoil of the weapon? But even without recoil, what ends up happening, I have plates, yes. Let's go. Oh. Right. So just to show you, you see how you get, well, we're using an elite one, so it's, you know, not going to be quite as bad, but even like just a weapon, like a handheld weapon against light armor blocks does ridiculous amounts of damage. But what ends up happening is that because of that spread, it makes it really difficult to snipe specific things. Now, it is easier to snipe with the Gatling cannons than it is with the missile launcher, because the missile launcher just is crazy. But at the end of the day, you get problems when you're trying to shoot at stuff, right? And it's just the way it is. I mean, it's how the game is set up, and we have to deal with the mechanic. So it's frustrating sometimes, because it didn't used to be that way. It used to be that ships could actually engage in combat and not be just, you know, disintegrated when they got into a fight. And I guess technically we could still kind of do that. Actually, can I? Well, because of a tank. I think the oxygen tank's a 3x, isn't it? I don't remember. Oh, wrong tank. So yes, the tank is 3x3. So I could actually put a tank in here. Why am I unable to place the tank? Oh, because it's... Yeah. That'll actually be kind of cool. Let's get in here, make sure everything's welded up. Yeah, we have to make sure everything is repaired, because otherwise the blocks collide. And it does funny things when the blocks collide. Alright. Okay, so what is still...
Energy low.
Everything looks okay. I'm guessing it's just being in here, so this is causing a problem. But I think we can get an oxygen tank in there.
No fuel.
Let's go batteries. Yes, it is. Tell me there's no fucking combat batteries. We want you to be recharge on off. Alright. Okay. Yeah. I guess that's been one of those days. Okay, so what to do with this beast? Do we want to keep it as our combat craft? Yeah, I think we'll keep it as our combat craft.
No fuel.
So I want... you. We want idle movements turned off. We're going to control this really quick. There we go. I just hate having it look like it's clipping through the roof. Okay. So we're going to have to take the ship back out in a little bit. Fix up some of the armor. But yeah, it was really, really bad. Did I lose a thruster? No. Okay. I'm sitting there like, oh, oh, another armor block I lost. Okay. Let's get that stuff out of there. We want you. There we go. You check, see if. But yeah, you can see just by which parts have taken damage. Oh. You know, we've gotten basically everything took a little bit of a beating. This is where I would really like to have Bob installed so that I didn't have to go through and try and find everything. Alright. So, if we rebuild or if we build a new combat vehicle, it's going to have to be large grid. Right? If we do large grid, I will probably have to build a custom cockpit or do a tank build. Basically have a cockpit inside the ship, and then build a ridiculous amount of armor over top of it. Man. Because what we really need to do is we just need to reduce our profile. Interior plates. No. Come here. Let's get over here. So what I swear Space Engineers is just going out of its way today. Okay, so let's grab that. Grab that. I should come over here and weld all this crap up too. Yeah. So if we do this with the large gear, yeah, how about that? We're just going to do it this way. It should be good. Do that, I'll do that. Okay, so we go heavy blocks. Actually, it's gonna be our center line. I know, I just said I didn't really want to rebuild this thing. Oh, so if we do that, let's grab, that's only going to be small cockpit, or a small grid. Right, okay. So we'd have to do something like this. Right, so the idea behind this is that when the cockpit's built, we'll basically be in third-person perspective, and the ship will hopefully have enough armor to take a bit of a beating. Before the cockpit gets blown out. Now the nice thing is that we could actually even put the cockpit towards the aft portion of of the ship. You know, or go completely cockpitless and have a remote, basically put a remote control block on it. But then we'd have to have a camera mounted on it, which is the problem. Yeah. I don't know. I'll think about it. One of the things that because like I was saying, one of the things we could do is we could say have the cockpit back here, and then you put, you know, some with your more vital equipment in the middle. So things like if you had a reactor or a cargo box, those types of things would be here, like midship, and you'd end up with a whole lot of combat stuff between you and the exterior portions. So we'll see. I don't know. I'll think about it. If you have any suggestions, throw them down in the comment section. It's been a while since I've actually built a true combat craft, so you know, I'm not gonna say no to any suggestions that you folks might have. I do kind of like the idea of having the cockpit back further. See, if the weapons just were not so godly unbalanced, I really do miss the old days of combat in Space Engineers, because, you know, you used to be able to not have to have these like ridiculous armor builds for the cockpit, or for, you know, the ships to be viable in combat, and you could actually use small grid ships to attack large grid vehicles. You know, yeah, it's like if you got hit, yes, it would do a ridiculous amount of damage to you, but it wasn't. They basically weren't one-shot kills. Yeah, I'll have to think about it. So, like I said, if you have ship ideas or, you know, examples that you want me to take a look at, throw those down in the comment section. This poor little beastie. You know, it was, for a brick, it's not bad. What I'll probably, well, you know what might not be a bad idea is to use that as an example. I could build a large grid version of this. Or we just go, say, to hell with it and do a straight up battleship build. I think we may do that. Alright, so here. We'll put this up to a vote. Right? Do you want a small assault style craft? Either large grid or small grid. If we do small grid, it's going to end up being about the size of a large grid anyway. Or should we just say the hell with it and basically build something on scale of what we have here and build it as a dedicated combat vehicle? And just, you know, we'll just go around, start nuking stations, specifically the pirate stations. I think that might be the way to go. All right, so I am, yeah, I'm gonna call this one here. Yet another video where we got absolutely nothing done, but it's a Monday, so we'll chalk it up to that. Alright, so if you enjoyed it, make sure you hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to throw them down in the section below. And if you really did enjoy it and you want to see more, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you want to be kept up to date when new videos come out, there's a little bell. Make sure you ring that as well. On that note, I am going to get out of here. I hope you all have a fantastic Monday. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you back here on Wednesday for more Space Engineers. As always, folks, take care and be safe out there, everybody. Oh, man. Okay, so we really do need to figure out if we're going to go full combat or not. And if we do go full combat... Oh, if we go full combat, I can actually repurpose some of that.